Dr. R. Hemavati is an assistant professor in mathematics in Queen Mary's, Chennai. She has specialized on functional analysis. Having 12 years of experience in teaching, she has won various awards for her performance. She has published papers in 14 international journals, 3 national journals, and has presented papers in 10 international and in 5 national conferences. She is also one of the editors for an international journal.
Welcome to UGC lecture series. In this subject statistical methods 2, in the earlier sessions we were discussing about sampling distributions and test of significance. Going ahead with the topic of test of significance, in this session we are going to deal with the large sample test. Large sample in the sense when the sample size is more than 30, we call it as large sample. So, some problems will be worked out in large sample test of significance using the central limit theorem. In continuance with the previous session where we stopped with the critical value of the statistic at level of significance alpha for a two-tailed test is given by Z alpha, where Z alpha is determined by the equation Z alpha is equal to t minus E of t, expectation of t, divided by standard error of t, okay, where Z alpha is the value so that the total area of the critical region on both tails is alpha. Alpha stands for the level of significance. All these discussions were done in the previous session. Now, since a normal probability curve is symmetrical curve, we get P of Z greater than Z alpha plus P of Z less than minus Z alpha is equal to alpha. That diagram we have seen in the previous session, where Z and Z alpha were shaded on both sides of the normal probability curve. So, by symmetricity, P of Z greater than Z alpha is kept as it is, whereas P of Z less than minus Z alpha will become P of Z greater than Z alpha. So, the 2 times P of Z alpha, 2 times P of Z greater than Z alpha is equal to alpha, and therefore, P of Z greater than Z alpha is equal to alpha divided by 2. In other words, the area of each tail is alpha by 2. All these things were diagrammatically represented in the previous session. Thus, the critical or significant value of Z for a single tailed test, that is left or right at level of significance alpha, is same as the critical value of Z for a two-tailed test at level of significance 2 alpha. When you determine the case as a two-tailed test and when you want to refer the tabulated value, you can see the two-tailed tables as it is. Whereas, when you determine the test is one-tailed and if you want to refer the tables for the tabulated value, then you have to refer the same tables for two-tailed test for one-tailed test at alpha divided by 2. So, these are the critical values of level of significance and the corresponding Z alphas. For critical value, level of significance values is Z alpha is 2.58, that is this is the tabulated value of Z at 1% level of significance. The standard values for the normal distribution for the large sample test. So, at Z at 1% is 2.58, whereas Z at 5% is 1.96 and Z at 10% is 1.645. As I was discussing, for the right tail test, for example, if you want to refer it for 5%, the tabulated value for two tail test at 10% will be the same as tabulated value for Z at 5% for one tail test, whether it is left tailed or right tailed. So, Z alpha is equal to 2.33. Here the modulus is not required because Z alpha is positive on the right side. Okay. So, Z alpha is equal to 2.33 and Z alpha is equal to 1.645, which is got from the 10% of two tail test, and Z alpha is equal to 1.28 at 10%. So, for left tail test all Z values will be negative, Therefore, Z alpha is minus 2.33 and Z alpha here is minus 1.645 for 5% and Z alpha at 10% is minus 1.28. So far the terminologies studied for a test of significance is to actually utilize it for testing the significance difference between the sample statistic and population parameter or the two population parameters. So, we will go ahead with the procedure for testing of significance. First of all, set up the null hypothesis, that is step 1. Step 2, set up the alternative hypothesis, and in this case here you have to mention whether the alternative hypothesis is one-tailed or two-tailed, so that the test becomes one-tailed test or two-tailed test. Step 3, mention at what percentage level of confidence you will be about the inference of the test. Okay. So, mention the level of significance. Compute 4, this is the calculation part. Step 4, you have to compute the statistic. Z statistics, there is a separate formula. You have to determine what corresponding formula will be suitable for this particular case study given in the question, and accordingly you have to choose the statistic Z or T or F or chi-square which you are going to study in this subject. So, correspondingly you have to take up the formula and compute, substitute all the values and compute the calculated value. Step 5 is conclusion. The conclusion goes like that. You have to write down the calculated value which you have calculated in step 4 as a calculated value within modulus. Negative signs should be avoided. So, modulus of calculated value should be written here, and then tabulated value, it is look at the corresponding tables of Z or T or F or chi-square. There will be statistical tables will be given to you separately for referring the tabulated values. All the values are already tested and it is being tabulated standard values. So, tabulated values you have to write down here after extracting the value from the tables. So, compare these two values. If calculated value is less than your tabulated value, then H naught is accepted. Then H naught is accepted. H naught is accepted means in step 1 you have set up H naught. That H naught statement should be written as the ultimate conclusion or the inference about the case. So, that is the conclusion. If your calculated value is greater than tabulated value, then H naught is rejected. When H naught is rejected, H1 is accepted because H1 is complement to H naught. When H1 is accepted, the ultimate conclusion or the inference is the statement which you have written in step 2 should be written as conclusion, right? According to the comparisons between calculated and tabulated value, H naught is accepted or rejected, and accordingly conclusion statements are extracted from step 1 and step 2 according to H naught is accepted or rejected. Okay. Then large sample, we are going into the test of significance now. There are two types of samples, one is called large sample, another one is called small sample. When the sample is called large sample, so when the sample size is greater than 30, that is when n is greater than 30, then the sample is called large sample, otherwise it is called small sample. There is a separate test of significance for large sample and there is a separate test of significance for a small sample. Central limit theorem, this already being discussed in statistical methods 1. The ultimate central limit theorem conclusion is any variable can be normalized to the standard normal variable as z is equal to the statistic t minus its average divided by standard deviation of that statistic. Standard deviation is a standard error of statistic and this has to be taken into modulus. This is what is the normalization, and it follows a standard normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. There are various tests in large samples. First of all, we will discuss Z test for single mean. Okay, Z test for single mean. Single mean represents case is going to be studied about whether there is a significant difference between sample statistic and a population parameter. Okay, so what is the Z test for single mean? Step 1 is setting up H naught. These are all the standard statements. H naught is set up as mu is equal to, that is the population value is taken from the case, from the question, and it is written here, that is setting up of mu value is H naught. Then step 2 is H1. As discussed earlier, you have to set up H1 as H1 is not mu not equal to, or H1 such that mu is greater than a particular value, or H1 is mu is less than a particular value. Okay, determine whether it is a one-tailed or two-tailed test. All these things has to be done in step 2. Next, step 3, you have to mention the level of significance alpha. Step 4 is your formula part. Z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root n. This is the formula for Z test for single mean. X bar is a statistic and its mean, the mean of sample mean is mu, and standard deviation of sample mean is sigma divided by root n. So, Z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n, where everything, all the notations have their usual meanings. X bar is sample mean, mu is population mean, sigma is standard deviation, and n is sample size. Okay. Then step 5 is conclusion. You have to compare, and then accordingly H naught is accepted or rejected. Take the statements from step 1 and step 2. Now, we will do this problem. The mean lifetime of 100 electric bulbs produced by a manufacturing company is estimated to be 1570 hours with a standard deviation of 120 hours. If x bar is the mean lifetime of all the bulbs produced by the company, test the hypothesis that mu is equal to 1600 hours using a level of significance of 0.05. So, 0.05 means 5% level of significance. Okay. So, all the values are given in the question, and this is the case you are asked to test the hypothesis that mu is equal to 1600 hours. Okay. We will go ahead with the solution. What are the values given in the question? That must be first written. Mean lifetime of 100 electric bulbs. So, the sample size is 100, n is equal to 100, it is greater than 30, and this determines this is a large sample test, and then next information given in the question is sample mean. The mean lifetime of 100 electric bulbs is estimated to be 1570 hours, and then its standard deviation is given to be equal to 120 hours. Okay. So, x bar is equal to 1570 and s is equal to 120, and these two values are corresponding to the sample of 100 bulbs. Therefore, we have to use the notation x bar and s. And one more information given in the question is mu is equal to 1600, that is your population mean. Okay. So, all the problems has to be done with the steps clearly. So, step 1 I will start. First the values are taken from the problem and it is written separately. You have to determine what type of test is it, whether it is a large sample test or a small sample test, and under large sample what type of test is it. It is a test of single mean because only one sample is taken from only one population. Therefore, it is a single mean test. Therefore, first of all let me set up the H naught. Step 1, H naught is set as mu is equal to 1600. This is what you have been asked to test in the problem. So, in words it is written as the mean lifetime of all bulbs is 1600, is equal to 1600 hours. Okay, this is your H naught, this is mathematical and this is theoretical is written. Then next you have to set up H1. Nothing is mentioned about in the question whether the mean lifetime of all the bulbs is greater or lesser. Therefore, we will take H1 as mu not equal to 1600, not equal to. So, it becomes a two-tailed. No kind of specification is given as whether it is asked whether it is better or whether it is inferior. Since nothing is mentioned, it is neutral and we can take mu not equal to 1600. So, H1 in words is written as mean lifetime of all bulbs produced by the company is not 1600. This is your H1 in words. Then step 3, you are asked to test at 5% level of significance. Alpha is equal to level of significance. And alpha is given to be equal to 0.05, that is 5%. It means that 5% is taken as a risk level and the remaining 95% you are confident about the result. Step 4, compute the statistic Z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root n. Substitute all the values 1570 minus 1600 divided by, if a sigma is not available, you can take the sample value of a sample standard deviation. So, sample standard deviation is 120 divided by root of 100. This root 100 can be written in the numerator also, but it is purposely written in the denominator so that as already discussed in a sampling distribution session, that all the denominators of the statistical formula represent the standard error, right. Therefore, it is written separately as divided by root n. While calculation you can take it to the numerator. So, minus 30 into 10, root 100 is 10 divided by 120. Okay. So, this gets cancelled, minus 2.5. So, this is your Z value. So, calculated Z at a 5% level of significance within modulus is equal to, within modulus of minus 2.5 is equal to 2.5. Now, let me go to the conclusion step. Step 5, conclusion step, we have just calculated Z at 5% as 2.5 and tabulated Z at 5% is taken from the tables. Just go to the tables, these are all standard values. We want a two-tailed test Z value at 5% level of significance. This is 1.96, right. This is 1.96. So, that is written here. Now, compare the values of 2.5 and 1.96 and check whether calculated value is greater than tabulated value. If it is greater, then H naught is rejected. So, calculated Z at 5% is greater than tabulated Z at 5% here, because 2.5 is greater than 1.96, and from this we have the conclusion that H naught is rejected. When H0 is rejected, it means H1 is accepted. What is the statement in H1 we have given? The statement of H1 is mean lifetime of all bulbs is not 1600. And what is the question you are asked? Test the hypothesis that mu is equal to 1600 hours. So, the hypothesis that mu is equal to 1600 hours is not acceptable. So, that is the conclusion we can give. Therefore, mu is equal to 1600 hours is not accepted, or it is rejected. This is the conclusion or the inference we can draw from this particular case of large sample test of significance. Next test is a test for difference of means, and here also, like the usual procedure, set up null hypothesis H0. These are all standard statements, therefore, for all the cases and under difference of means. And we set up H0 as mu1 is equal to mu2. That is, there is no difference between the two population parameters. Difference of means actually represent the two samples have been taken from two respective populations. So, when you talk about two respective populations, it means the population 1 is totally different from population 2. There is a case of population 1 is different from population 2, and there is a case where the two populations follow the same type of distribution. So, that is what we want to check with the Z test for difference of means. So, step 1, H0 such that mu1 is equal to mu2. In words it is written as there is no significant difference between two population means. Then step 2, H1 will be mu1 not equal to mu2, or H1 will be mu1 is greater than mu2, or H1 will be mu1 is lesser than mu2, and determine whether it is a two-tailed test or one-tailed test. Okay. Step 3, fix up the level of significance alpha. Step 4 is the formula part. Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. Okay. This is the formula for Z test for difference of means. All these formula has been extracted from the central limit theorem, right. Now, when the population standard deviations, a population variance is not available, you can use S1 square by n1 plus S2 square by n2. So, the same formula with Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by root of S1 square by n1 plus S2 square by n2. Now, this example is to be done using the difference of means. The following table gives the data on the hardness of wood stored outside and inside the room. The wood has been taken as the sample. One type of sample is the wood taken from outside the room and the wood taken from inside the room, because outside it will be affected by various factors like moisture, sunlight, rainy, everything will be affected by wood when it is kept outside. And inside we have to check what is the difference between outside wood and inside wood. So, that is what is given. Sample size is 40. There are 40 woods lying outside and there are 110 woods lying inside, and the mean hardness is estimated to be 117 and the mean hardness here is estimated to be 132. The sum of squares of the deviations from mean is 8655 and inside is 27,244. Test whether the hardness is affected by weathering. So, solution, step 1, set up H naught as mu1 is equal to mu2. Mu1 is equal to mu2 is hardness of wood inside and outside are same. But this is not the particular statement which will give you the exact answer to the question given. You are asked to test whether hardness is affected by weathering. It means when hardness of wood inside and outside are same, it means that it is not affected by the weathering, right? Hardness is not affected by weathering. This is the statement corresponding to H naught. Next, step 2, H1 will be mu1 not equal to mu2. So, the corresponding statement is hardness is affected by weathering. Step 3, when the level of significance in the question is not specified, you can take alpha is equal to 5%. Step 4, Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar divided by root of s1 square by n1, because that value only had been given in the question, s1 square by n1 plus s2 square by n2. Now, all the values are taken from the question. Let me represent the values here itself. N1 is equal to 40, N2 is equal to 110, x1 bar is 117, x2 bar is 132. Summation x1 minus x1 bar whole square is equal to 8655, and summation x2 minus x2 bar whole square is equal to 27,244. Okay. Now, S1 square and S2 square is not available. Therefore, S1 square is summation x1 minus x1 bar whole square by n1 minus 1, which is equal to 8655 divided by 40 minus 1 is equal to 221.92, and S2 square is equal to summation x2 minus x2 bar whole square by n2 minus 1 is equal to 27244 by 110 minus 1, which is equal to 249.94. Now, substitute all the values in Z formula. Z is 117 x1 bar minus x2 bar 132 divided by root of 221.92 by 40 plus 249.94 by 110, and this is equal to minus 15 by root of 5.548 plus 2.272, and this value is minus 5.36. Hence, calculated Z at 5% within modulus is 5.36. Therefore, coming to the conclusion part, calculated Z at 5% is 5.36, and tabulated Z, which we have seen in the tables, is 1.96. Here calculated value is greater than tabulated value. Therefore, H naught is rejected, H1 is accepted. H1 says hardness is affected by weathering. This is the conclusion. Hardness is affected by weathering. After discussing the procedure for test of significance from step 1 to step 5, some problems have been worked out in large sample test of a single mean and difference of means using the central limit theorem, which says that the variable can be normalized to standard normal distribution. Based on the discussion in this session, the following questions may be posed. Explain the procedure for test of significance, brief the large sample test, and then the third question is based on a test for single mean, So, mean IQ of a sample of 1600 children was 99. Is it likely that this was a random sample from a population with a mean IQ 100 and standard deviation 15? Thank you.